What's up, everybody? Well, I said I was going to do it, and here I am finally doing it. I'm going to show you guys how to float a rig. So, the Bigfoot 10 build, I've used the outer 4 tires to build that one, the Firestorms. This Bigfoot 3 that we've been floating in the water is actually supposed to have a tire that looks like this, you know, when you're trying to get it accurate to real life. So I bought, 8 of these, and I'm going to change it over. So I pulled all this apart, and I'm using the other 4 on the other build now. Well, and my video's skipping real bad. I don't know what that's about, but that's the rig right there. Anyway, what you're gonna do is, first and foremost, you're gonna want to make sure that this thing is not gonna let any water in. You want it to be airtight. You're gonna have to take and glue all the way around this really thoroughly, front and back. Make sure it's airtight. I use this here. You can use whatever you want. Use your best judgment. I'm not gonna take responsibility if you drown your vehicle. You want to try this. It's always a risk, so it could go underwater. So you want to use what I'm using. This is it. Just be careful and just really be thorough with it so that you don't have a problem. The inside here, we got this double-sided tape. It's supposed to hold up to 20 pounds by Scotch. I think it's the brand. And double-sided tape I just slap on there. When it gets dirty, the outside just kind of becomes, just smooth or whatever. But it's held all this time that we've been floating this thing, and it just hadn't been a problem. And you can tell I'm really getting on it, and it just holds air. So that's first step. The next thing is going to be, and you're going to have to do this to all 8 of them, like make sure that it floats. Next thing is, my brother found these on eBay. These are what goes inside your portal where you put your wheel on, you put your nut on the outside to lock it down. I got some that are longer. We found what we believe to be the longest stud out there, and you'll run a lock nut down like you normally would to put a wheel on, then you'll run another one on and cram it up against the other one. So you'll do the double lock nut trick where it locks them together. This is how you keep your wheels from coming off while you're floating in the water. And not to mention, if you run it like this, then your wheel's not going to back off, and if you've got one of these on it, you don't have to be like, well, now I got to take all these screws out to tighten that down and put them all back on. So having this extended and 2 lock nuts has been the way to go for monster trucks, on the TRX4 at least. Just a little heads up on that. These are pretty easy to change out. There's videos on how to do it, but I didn't even need to look them up. It was real self-explanatory. You just take all your portals, screws out the back, and there's 2 in the front, pull it apart, change it out. There's like a pin, put it all back together. Don't tighten it up too much where you strip the plastic out. That's all you really have to worry about. But as far as these, you're gonna have one wheel on the inside. These are all the inner wheels, so they all have holes drilled in around the outside of the hex. You don't need to do that on the outside. So the only reason you need to drill these holes, and you just follow this, find you a drill bit that goes right in where the planetary hub would mount, and just find you a piece of all thread at a local hardware store. Try to take your screw in and match the size. This is cut to about 5 1/4 inch. Then I put a lock nut on the end, and you run it through here. Once you get that pushed in all the way out, it's just a PVC pipe, and this is 4 inches. I've cut it to 4 inches. Then you take, it's about 2 this way on the outer diameter, and you got 1.5 on the inside. Then it fits around this ring in here. Once you get all your what do you call it, all thread pushed through there. You put that over it. That's your spacer. And then on this wheels, you don't need to drill anything, but you don't put the hex in there. You're going to use these holes. So this is going to come through. Here's that. It's kind of hard to finagle all this together. I got an ant crawling around there. Must have these laying outside too long. Let's see, where's that? Okay, so once you get these mounted together, then what you're going to have is this is going to walk around, and so by putting all the all threads through there and tightening them all up in a certain kind of order, then you can adjust it, to pull tension on one side or the other, this way or that way. Get it nice and tight, but don't go so much that you're bending plastic and pulling the rim in. I made that mistake on one of them, getting too hard on it, and what will happen is when you go to put them in, your socket almost makes it hard to get your socket in and out of there. I'll show you in a minute. So as you're putting this together, remember that this all thread needs to be flush with the ring that your planetary hub mounts to, because you're going to bend the plastic if those are sticking out past the ring. You put your lock nut on here to lock everything together. You're going to want to use these outer holes on the outer rim to put these on. So at the end of the day, it looks nice, like a real monster truck would. And that's how they all mount together. Now, as far as you get it all locked down and it's all nice and straight and everything where you need it to be, and they all float, and you got your longer hexes on the truck already, you're ready to go on with it. There's your hex you bolted in. You got to do that first, or you're going to have to take this all apart. So make sure that you put your all your bolts in here to hold your hex in, like you normally would on a J-Concept tire or wheel of any kind. I don't mean to go too fast, I just don't want this video to get too long. And like I always try to tell everybody, if you got a question or it doesn't make sense or think of something I didn't say, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. But just to help everybody out and give everybody a visual, I'm doing this. And once you get everything mounted together, you're gonna have to put them on. And what I've got, I bought this from Lowe's for $49, and it's like a impact driver. You can use parts, tools that fit on the impact driver. Put it in there, and this is a 1/4 inch adapter, and then 6-inch extension, and then it's got a 7mm deep socket on the end of it. Well, what I do, I've got these long studs that I showed you hanging off the truck, already ready to go, and I hang my truck kind of off this table a little bit where it's kind of leaning down. Then I get my wheel nut on here on the end of it and hold it up like this. This is hanging down, and I run it through that hole all the way down, and you could feel for that stud up in there. And you just try to catch it. Once you feel it catch, then you can hit this button and you can spin it on. You could even bump it and get the light to come on, and you could see in there better. This is a nice tool for this. And I like that it's kind of weak because it won't tear up and strip out plastic parts. You run it down, then you come out and you get your other nut, run it all the way back in there, get it the same way, and then run it up against it, and it becomes a screwdriver at the end, so you can tighten it down nice and snug. Like I say, don't overdo it, but just get it nice and snug. Once that's attached, then you've got all this mounted. The wheels are mounted to the truck, everything's ready. Get your little screws that come with these planetary covers and just screw them on the end. Can't see what I'm doing, I'm just trying to make sure the camera saw it. Screw those down on there, and then it looks like a regular monster truck at the end. And you got your spacer in the middle, like a like it would. Try to keep it even, straight, and that's all there is to it. But it's very important that you make sure that no water is getting in these tires and air is staying inside these tires. This glue here, I bought this at Home Depot. I bought the tape that I showed you from Home Depot. This, I don't have a roll to show you right now, but it's a roll. It's got like red around it, and it's Scott is the name of the brand, and you can find it with all the other tapes. If you go into like the paint department, it'll be in there. And you can get that, you can get this at Home Depot, and you can also get PVC pipe the way I went over the measurements. 2 inches diameter, 1.5 in the middle. Probably come in a longer length, but you'll be cutting it down to 4 inches a piece. That can all be purchased at Home Depot, so it's a one-trip thing. Lowe's, I'm sure, sells all the same stuff. You can go there too. What else? I think that's it. I think you're ready to float. If I forgot anything, like I say, let me know. I'll be glad to help out. I just thought I'd do this video before I go to changing all these and try to put the legitimate tires that Bigfoot 3 used to have on it as my float tires. And I'm going to use these on another rig in the future because they're the Firestone type. And that should be everything you need to know. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. We sure appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun, this channel. Really hoping it blows up. If you like what you see, man, share and subscribe and give us a like, give us a shout.